This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. President Biden touting that he is doing a good job with the economy and inflation. I'll play the video clip of what President Biden says, and Republicans seem to think otherwise. I'll let you know the perspective from the Republicans of why they don't think President Biden is doing a good job. We'll also go over the latest stimulus check articles like this. Direct payments of $275 going out in the mail to nearly 2 million people, and millions of Americans may still be eligible for COVID-19 stimulus. $300 checks are actually delayed in one state, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the daily, straight-to-the-point updates. So let's get into it. Millions of Americans may still be eligible for a COVID-19 stimulus. Maybe even you. Here's what to know. So basically, all this is talking about, I'll sum it up for you really quick. Americans who did not receive a first, second, or third stimulus check, which is around 10 million of them, still have time to fill out information to get it by November 15th. So if you didn't receive a stimulus check, that's basically all this is talking about. And there is a deadline for a tax extension through the IRS until October 17th, but you got to fill out all the information on November 15th. If you did not receive your stimulus checks or you know anyone, make sure you give them this information. Go to the IRS website and you could figure that out. And then direct payments of $275 go out in the mail to nearly 2 million Americans in weeks. Are you eligible? So this is slightly misleading by $5. These are the New York child tax credits that are going out of $270, not $275. So they just switched the number there. Basically, the average payment is $270 and the minimum is $25. And those checks are going to be delivered by October 31st in New York. And then here, stimulus update, checks worth up to $300 delayed in Hawaii due to paper shortage. So if you were expecting a stimulus check, which are going out right now in Hawaii, looks like they're going to start going out, or actually they're going to be delayed. They don't know when it's going to go out. But yeah, the next round is supposed to be sent out October 17th, but paper shortage going on there. This doesn't affect the people who are getting direct deposit. And then President Biden says prices too high as inflation rises before midterms. So President Biden also admitting, saying that things are too high, but he says he's doing a good job so far. Take a look at what he says here, then I'll give you the Republican rebuttal after that.
So what's your message to Democrats who like you, who like what you've done, but are concerned about your age and the demands of the job?
Well, they're concerned about whether or not I can get anything done. Look what I've gotten done. Name me a president in recent history who's gotten as much done as I have in the first 2 years. Not a joke. You may not like what I got done, but the vast majority of the American people do like what I got done. And so it's a matter of, can you do the job? And I believe I can do the job. I've been able to do the job. I've gotten more done. I got the Inflation Reduction. I got all these pieces of legislation passed. And I ran on that. I said this is what I was going to do. And I'm still getting it done.
Big question, of course, is when you're going to make an official announcement about whether or not you're going to run for 2024 for re-election. Do you think you'll make a decision before the end of the year?
Well, look, I'm not going to make this about my decision. I'm going to make this about this off-year election. After that's done in November, then I'm going to be in the process of deciding.
Is one of the calculations that you think you're the only one who can beat Donald Trump?
I believe I can beat Donald Trump again.
What are your thoughts on what President Biden has to say? Do you agree, disagree? Well, Republicans have a different perspective on President Biden and what President Biden is touting his accomplishments about. Take a look at the Republican perspective right here.
Welcome back. Now 25 days to go until the midterm elections, and sky-high inflation remains one of the top issues for voters. President Biden is trying to spin the news, and of course it was worse than expected yesterday, but now he's claiming Republicans are actually the issue.
Today's report shows, though, some progress. Overall, inflation was 2% over the last 3 months. That's down from 11% over the prior 3 months. That's progress. Republican wins, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple.
Joining me right now is Fox News contributor, former senior advisor to the Clintons and the Stagwell Group CEO, and the Harris Poll chairman, Mark Penn. Mark, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning. He keeps blaming Republicans for everything, despite this horrendous policy. How important are these issues for the midterm elections now, Mark? Give us your sense of where polling is.
Well, we're coming out of the field with a Harris poll this morning, and inflation is the #1 issue, along with immigration and crime as 2 and 3. And 73% of the people now expect that we're going into a recession, and 55% blame President Biden and his policies for the inflation. So he may be trying to deflect it, but he really needs to meet it head on, take responsibility, and give a plan of action, because right now he is failing on that issue with the American public, no question about it.
Well, instead, he's actually misleading the American people every day with comments like it's the Republicans' fault. I mean, that's not going to fly, don't you think?
Well, yes, he keeps saying on the one hand there's inflation, then there's, as he said, there's just 2% inflation, or last month he said there was no inflation. I mean, his comments are just not credible on the issue. When we ask voters what issue are the Democrats talking about, they say January 6th. So when the public really wants to talk about inflation, immigration, and crime, the Democrats are seen as not really even playing on the main issues, and the president is not being credible about those issues or responding in a forceful way.
Right, Trump and abortion, Mark, it's Dagan McDowell. But these concerns that you talk about for voters and the disastrous state of the economy, is it actually playing out in the way that they will vote at the for Congress and for Senate? Because if it was a presidential election, that might be one thing. But are there concerns and the blame that the Democrats deserve, is it actually showing up in the numbers? Because if you look at the Senate, it's extremely tight between Republicans and Democrats in the the closely watched races, and even on the Republicans should be much further ahead, you would think, in the House races.
Well, CNN had a poll when they looked actually at the House races that are contested. They have Republicans ahead by 5 points, in those districts. Look, I think if you went back before Labor Day, I think Democrats had some momentum. I think since then, the momentum has clearly shifted. I think the biggest opportunity for Democrats would have been really a change in inflation, and we didn't see that. Quite the opposite. I think it's underscored as the most important issue. I think now we are seeing in the polls Democrats paying a price for the trillions of dollars that were spent coming out of the pandemic, for Biden's policies related to that and to energy. And I do think that you see the momentum here and the energy on the Republican side. And if you'd asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said the opposite.
Can I just add one thing? It's not just the blame and who caused the inflation and the declining wages. It's the fact that the Democrats can't acknowledge that it's a hardship. That there's a declining standard of living in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So clearly we're seeing two different perspectives here. What are we supposed to believe? Well, I think most Americans feel the pain of inflation on a daily basis, barely able to cover food bills or to get food, to cover utility bills, rent, and basically just to live a somewhat normal life and to survive. The coal information came out, which is sort of good. It's a little higher, but I think a lot more people need a lot more help. Let me know if you agree with that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Bye. And hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. That's just my sister clip, but now we're doing my clip. So what I'm talking about now is to you, like, when someone's hurt, you should definitely help them, because that if it's like really bad, then you should actually help them. Like, I helped a couple of my friends and they loved it. So that's what I want to say for today. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So we are having a family day today. We might go to a Greek festival, which is in town. So that might be our thing we do today. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day and your weekend too. If you want to check out any of my other videos or my other channels, click right up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.